Yeah, I'd like to get, if possible, have a wellness check done on my daughter. And I've been trying to get a hold of her, and her phone just tends to go to voicemail. I was just wondering if I could have somebody maybe go by her house and check on her.
After stepping off a plane in the early hours of the morning, Mackenzie Lewick sent a final text to her parents, then vanished. What followed was a chilling mystery that left her family and friends desperate for answers. Mackenzie Lewick, a vibrant and adventurous 23-year-old from El Segundo, California, was living in Salt Lake City, Utah, where she studied kinesiology and pre-nursing at the University of Utah. Known for her love of travel and passion for helping others, she had recently embarked on a solo trip across Europe. Family and friends described her as bubbly, nurturing, and deeply connected to her loved ones. Her promising future, however, was tragically cut short in June 2019. On June 17th, Mackenzie flew back to Salt Lake City after attending her grandmother's funeral in Los Angeles. She landed just after 1:30 a.m., and by 2:01 a.m., she had texted her parents to let them know she had arrived safely. That would be the last communication they received from her. At 2:59 a.m., Mackenzie left the airport and got into a Lyft. However, rather than heading home, she asked the driver to take her to Hatch Park, a quiet spot about 20 minutes away. It was an odd destination for that time of night, but the driver reported that Mackenzie seemed calm and not in distress. He watched her get into another car with an unidentified individual and drove away, unaware that it would be the last time Mackenzie was seen alive. Concern mounted as the days passed without any word from Mackenzie. Her parents, Greg and Diana Lewick, became increasingly worried. Their daughter, who normally stayed in close contact, had gone silent. Greg called the Salt Lake City Police Department on June 20th, asking for a wellness check, expressing concern that her phone had been going straight to voice.
There's a lot of mysteries here. 23-year-old Mackenzie Lewick had just returned to Utah after coming to Southern California for her grandmother's funeral. Her parents said they last heard from her when she texted them after her flight landed safely last Monday. After that, she ordered a Lyft to an address in North Salt Lake, but friends say Lewick didn't live there and they don't know why she went there. Lewick has been absent on social media, and her friends and sorority sisters have been passing out flyers hoping someone will come forward with information. Lyft told CBS News they're actively assisting law enforcement with their investigation and that there were no irregularities with the ride. She was dropped off and the driver continued taking other customers immediately. The family is from Southern California and they're now working to get subpoenas for her phone records to hopefully try to piece some of this together.
Mackenzie's friends shared the family's growing anxiety. They visited her apartment, finding no sign of her. Her car remained parked outside, but her luggage was missing. She had missed important commitments, including a midterm exam, a wedding, and shifts at her job as a lab associate at PRA Health Services. It was completely unlike her, and her friends grew even more alarmed when they realized she hadn't arranged care for her beloved cat. The Salt Lake City police quickly opened a missing persons investigation. The first clue came from the Lyft driver, who confirmed that he had dropped her off at Hatch Park just before 3 a.m. From there, the trail went cold. Mackenzie had gotten into another vehicle, but who had picked her up remained a mystery. A public appeal was made, and Mackenzie's family and friends took to social media, urging anyone with information to come forward. Flyers were distributed throughout the city, and a Facebook page titled Find Mackenzie Lewick was created. Our primary goal is to find Mackenzie and bring her home, her family wrote in a statement. The community rallied around the Lewicks, but days passed with no significant leads. As the investigation unfolded, a troubling detail emerged. Mackenzie had been using a dating app called Seeking Arrangements, a site that connects sugar babies with sugar daddies, wealthy older men who provide financial support in exchange for companionship. Police began to explore whether her online activity had played a role in her disappearance.
Missing University of Utah student Mackenzie Lewick. Authorities have released surveillance images of Mackenzie at the Salt Lake City International Airport just an hour before she vanished. During a press conference, police said that there is no indication that Mackenzie has gone off the grid, and they're beginning to look at her profiles on various dating apps after Mackenzie's friends said she was casually dating several people and was interested in older men.
In regards to her online activities, we are aware of this aspect and continue to look into all facets of her life for leads to her disappearance.
Police say they've received over 125 tips related to her case, and there's...
Amid growing pressure, authorities obtained a search warrant for Mackenzie's phone records, leading them to a man named Ayoola Ajayi.
Authorities say Ajayi was the last person to communicate with Mackenzie. Cell phone records put them both at the park just before 3 a.m.
Her phone was powered off at approximately 2:59 a.m. and was never powered back on again.
At 3:07, Ajayi's phone pinged at his home a few miles from the park. Later that morning, investigators say Ajayi purchased a red gas can from a local grocery store.
Ajayi, a 31-year-old IT professional, originally from Nigeria, had been in contact with Mackenzie and was in the vicinity of Hatch Park on the night she disappeared, according to cell phone data. Ajayi quickly became the prime suspect in the case. Ajayi had a troubling past. He had attended Utah State University but never completed his degree. He was discharged from the Army National Guard in 2015 after failing to meet medical standards. Though he presented himself as a successful entrepreneur, his life was marred by dark secrets. Neighbors reported seeing him burning something in his backyard around the time Mackenzie disappeared. The smell was overpowering and suspicious, prompting one neighbor to confront him. Ajayi dismissed their concerns, claiming he was burning wood pallets. These reports led police to search Ajayi's property.
There's burnt stuff, just like paper and that.
Where's
on
your
my
house?
side, the yellow one.
Is it okay if we come back there and look?
Definitely.
Is that okay? Hey, Sarge. You good for a minute?
Alpha 123.
Nobody's come to your house at all?
They came here. Dog's in the car 30, and he don't bite. He'll lick you to death, but car 31.
All right.
Media is outside of Pioneer Precinct. Copy. Just wanted to let you know.
Are the cops back here at all?
I know there's a press release or brigade at 11:30.
Yeah.
See, there's some burnt paper there. There's some stuff there.
Highway 6410.
And then here's some more. Well, that's a piece
Highway
of paper.
64 1102.
But does that look like a bone or?
No, it doesn't look like a bone, but
Huh?
definitely burned.
Yeah. Because this is where I asked him. I says, "What are you burning?"
Oh. Where do they have their fire? Right there? You've talked to the detectives and everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
right there. So I told him it stunk really bad.
As the police conducted their search, they uncovered several suspicious items that raised alarms. Among these were charred remains in Ajayi's backyard, along with personal belongings that appeared to have been deliberately burned. The discovery of these materials pointed to something far more sinister than they had initially feared, intensifying the investigation and confirming their worst suspicions about what had happened to Mackenzie.
Yeah, they didn't give me the search warrant. I authorized it before. And then when they said the search...
We don't have the search warrant in hand.
Can I borrow your phone then to call my lawyer?
I'm going to give you her phone number right now. You remember her name? When we went that to
Susanna.
Yep.
Is there anyone else in there?
You go check her.
Let's make sure.
What's your
Please.
guys?
All right,
notes.
Here and wait until the search warrant gets here.
You can search when I get here. But let's say it's going out, so you search when I get here.
We're not going to search anything. We're doing this.
Clear in this room, clear in the bathroom. They are scrolling through my phone. Without a warrant, they are going through my phone.
You done with the phone?
Yes.
Is there anyone else in there? Let's make sure. No one's in the basement. Everything's been cleared. Good, how are you?
It's a nice day, huh?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Where are you going, sir?
I just want to go back to where I was standing.
Okay. I'm not. I have no update.
By the way, we both got our best.
I look like what?
Yeah, like the mailbox. USPS.
I am USPS. Like we said, as soon as we know something, I'll tell you, though, okay?
Better hope he's not the Postal Service. That means he's going to raise his rates every day. Not be efficient.
Exactly.
During the police search of his property, Ajay seemed more concerned about his face being shown on the news than the investigation itself. His preoccupation with media coverage revealed an unsettling priority, as he appeared more focused on protecting his image than cooperating with the search efforts unfolding around him.
What's going on, man?
Detectives are ready to talk to you about everything that's going on real fast, so if you want to come, I'll give you right back to the house real quick.
But there's Fox News over there.
I know, I'm going to drive you back in my car. It's a Camry, so...
We'll stay away from the news.
Yeah, we're not going to go by the news.
But I don't want my face on the news.
I will do that so it does, okay? So stand up real quick.
We're just going to... Oh, get you up. Are you arresting me or something?
No. Stand up.
Then why are you... You're going to be detained for a little bit.
You're being detained, but just for a second, okay? I got to put you in handcuffs just while we're driving.
Per policy, we're
just going to go talk to detectives for a little bit. Why is he detaining me?
Because you need to talk to detectives, and I need to transport you back. So my policy says every time someone's in my car, they will wear handcuffs. So that's why they're...
But there's a news over there.
They can come right back.
We're probably not going to take... We'll take you to another spot so you're not by the news.
Okay?
We just how did the news find out? Yeah, we were wondering the same thing.
I just want to make sure there's no weapons on you. So some money, I'm just going to leave that right there for you.
What they found confirmed their worst fears. In a charred patch of ground in Ajay's backyard, investigators discovered human remains, which were later identified as belonging to Mackenzie. They also found personal items of hers, including her phone, which had been burned in an attempt to destroy evidence. In a horrifying twist, Mackenzie's body had been dismembered, and parts of her remains were buried in Logan Canyon, 85 miles away, an area familiar to Ajay. Evidence shows Ajay planned to murder Mackenzie, disabling his home security system before picking her up. At his Fair Park residence, he tied her hands with zip ties and rope, attempted to choke her, then strangled her with a belt. Mackenzie suffered blunt force trauma to the head, causing brain hemorrhaging, which ultimately killed her. The investigation into Ajay revealed more sinister details. A contractor came forward, recalling that Ajay had asked him to build a secret soundproof room in his basement just months before Mackenzie's disappearance. Ajay had requested the room be fitted with hooks on the walls and a thumbprint lock, claiming it was for wine storage. The contractor found the request disturbing and declined the job.
Something out of a movie. It's mind-blowing.
Contractor Brian Wolf says the suspect, Ayula Ajayi, called him to this house 3 months ago with an unusual request.
Started asking me about building this secret door and even more stuff like making it soundproof, a thumbprint lock on it, hooks on the walls, just weird stuff.
Wolf says he turned down the job and was horrified to learn about the discovery police say they made in this yard Wednesday.
Charred material was located, which has now been determined to be female human tissue.
After 11 days of searching for Luick, police say cell phone records and tips led them to Ajayi, the SWAT team taking the 31-year-old into custody.
You can see officers in tactical gear gathering on the side of the building, weapons drawn. Murder suspect Ayoola Ajayi is then seen slowly walking toward the officers with his hands raised, one hand holding a cell phone to his ear. As he reaches the officers, the 31-year-old hands over the phone. The SWAT team members lower their guns and place Ajayi in handcuffs. Officers then enter the building. Minutes later, they return and transfer Ajayi across the street to the back seat of a police car. Later this afternoon, crime scene vehicles showed up and entered the building with bags and cameras. This all happened very quickly, really less than a half hour.
After an exhaustive week of investigation, we are filing charges of aggravated murder, aggravated kidnapping, obstruction of justice, and desecration of a body in the homicide of Mackenzie Luick. The man charged with these horrific and tragic crimes is the person of interest.
Ajayi was arrested on June 28, 2019, and charged with aggravated murder, kidnapping, and desecration of a body. Initially, he denied knowing Mackenzie or having met her in person.
Either you didn't have a conversation with her or you did. We know you did. We know that you had a conversation continuing. We know that your phone takes you up in the exact same area as she was dropped off. Coincidence? Nope. Facts? Yep. Did you meet with her up in Salt Lake that night? No. Okay, your phone records are going to show different.
A week and a half now to prepare. And we have been very busy because I care about Mackenzie. And I want her. I think you did care about her. I agree. And I know that there's more for you to tell me, and you're holding back, and I don't understand why. AJ, I just told you that your phone records and the location put you up at the meet. Do you think, honestly, and expect me to believe that you ended that conversation and somehow you and her location end up in the exact same spot?
Oh, I'm not doubting you. If I see that too, if I'm in your case, I would be asking myself, what are you asking me right now?
It's not a miraculous question.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
Stuff doesn't just happen.
No.
Yes, I agree with you.
I'm telling you to explain that. And so far, you have not.
Well, how do I explain something I don't know?
Are you saying you don't know or you don't remember? Because those are two different things, AJ.
Anything in your pockets that I need to be aware of or anything like that? Put that in there for you. We'll put that in there for you. Whose cuffs are those? Hold on to that for a second for me. Leela, do me a favor. Just stand up and face the wall for me. I'm going to make sure you got everything off you.
But police presented overwhelming evidence, including cell phone data and a disturbing internet search history that included inquiries about burning bodies. Ajayi's attempts to cover his tracks unraveled, and though he continued to protest his innocence, the evidence against him was damning. Ajayi later confessed to what happened on the night of Mackenzie's disappearance. He admitted that after meeting her at Hatch Park in the early hours of June 17, 2019, he drove her to his home. Once inside, things quickly turned violent. He restrained her by tying her hands with zip ties and struck her on the head with a blunt object, causing her death. In an attempt to cover up the crime, Ajayi burned her body in his backyard and disposed of the remains. On October 7, 2020, Ajayi pleaded guilty to first-degree aggravated murder and third-degree desecration of a human body. He was later sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole, offering some closure to Mackenzie's parents.
The man who pleaded guilty to murdering 23-year-old Mackenzie Luick, Ayoola Ajayi, was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
There is no sense of perfect justice here. There's just an accountability. And the one thing that our community can rest assured with and her family can rest assured with is that Mr. Ajayi will spend the rest of his life and he will die in prison.
Though the process is over, the memories and the scars for the Luick family will always remain.
We are blessed and honored to have Mackenzie in our lives for the last 23 years.
The judge says Ajayi pled guilty to the 3 most severe criminal crimes. He will serve each of those crimes consecutively.
Our thoughts and prayers are with Mackenzie's friends and family. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. Don't forget to subscribe and like for more updates and future content. We appreciate your support.